if you're going to continue to destroy our society by not all of a sudden now you want to fight for our equal rights, thank you for doing that. But that's not the story, is it? That's just how we assume. We're not going to continue to keep bringing past actions here in the present or future. Whether even people exist in our lives or not, I'm just going to say that people exist in my life. I'm just going to say if I want to get in a relationship with somebody, then that person's going to have to work out my flaws and everything else. And that's the bottom line. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, nobody wants to be with me because I'm going through pain and traumas and I'm not equipped to be as advanced as everybody else is. So what? That's what people always say, so what? So we're not advanced. So what? So the world's got problems. Then what do you usually come up with? You come up with answers for your problems. You don't just sit around and drag on another year and say, oh, well, we'll just let somebody else handle it or somebody else will fight the fight for people. You don't do that crap. And this business with coronavirus still going around, you got enough evidence to sue the people. There's actually people that died from that stuff, and that's not scientific knowledge, is not to have people destroyed or harmed. If people are dying because of these diseases going around, then someone's going to get sued because it's coming from somewhere. And it all tracks back to people. The aliens didn't do it. There's practically no such thing. Animals aren't going to do it. What, is a tiger going to dress up in a coat and glasses and walk around with beer in their hands and give you the beer and the needles to harm yourself and crash your car? Well, I don't think so. So you're making up philosophical stories that don't meet actual acquaintances, or people are getting in problems left and right around here, and people are tired of talking about it. They want action. They don't want debates. They don't want political wars. The adults just want to have fun at the stuff that they're doing. My generation doesn't want to be a part of your political wars. It's not our specialties. It's not our fields of experience. It's not the things we've worked all of our lives and the jobs we've done. We don't want to be a part of your failing system. We don't want to be held back from gaining more wisdom and learning to live differently each and every year. We don't want to be a part of that stuff, and we don't have to. It's as simple as that. That's why 90% of people are going to turn to being independent. Because you're not cutting it in the regular world. And we live in a right to fire state, so that goes for management as well. You don't think about your actions. You're all about telling everybody there's consequences to your actions. They're all about telling the kids there's consequences to your actions. But when it boils down to what about you yourself, suddenly it's, oh yeah, that's right. The same thing applies for everyone. Adults, kids, leaders, physicians, doctors, lawyers, rap stars, YouTubers, rockers, construction workers, pharmacists, McDonald's workers, Sonic riders, Sonic cookers, cooks, people that are studying criminalistic stuff, people that are going into the military, people that are working college jobs, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, no jobs. We're all people, basically down to the bone, We're not objects that you could just throw in the trash to get rid of us just because you don't like us. If you don't like us, then don't talk to us. Don't try to control our society and tell us what to do and destroy our lives, because we're just going to rebel against it. We're just going to rebel against treated like crap. We're just going to rebel against the evil elites and being drugged into evil rituals just to have millions of dollars. That's not how the contracts are. That's not how videos and music is sold. We're not selling our souls. We're not selling our sexuality either. to fit the needs of others, that's been around since the 90s. You can't get away with it in regular jobs. What makes you think you're going to get away with it in these high-paying jobs? It's common sense. I don't study anything about lawyers and know what the laws are, but I already pretty much know what 90% of them are because they're basic common sense. They're basic human rights. They're basic simple things that people live with, and they're just to be behind your back and just to keep you guided into the right path of the reality you choose in life. But, if you don't help us lower disadvantaged people, you're pretty much not going to help the higher advantaged people and the smart people that have all these qualifications. There's a lot of qualifications we don't know we have because we're always degraded and mistreated and low valued because that's how they were brought up, but they didn't make the changes when they had the time. They just let everything go and blew it off. And that doesn't help our chances or situations get any stronger. We need people to believe in. We need people to believe in us, not just ourselves, believing in ourselves. And the power lies within all of us to change our planet. So then we're just going to rebel against the bad stuff in life, and we're just going to do what needs to be done regardless of even if we lose our lives. Oh well, then that's the go down in history then. That's how all the present wars were won in the 60s, in 1800s, and 1400s, 1700, 1300, 1200. That's how they all were won. You're making the same mistakes that society always makes. People are going to eventually see the tactics and just not care and just rebel against the bad stuff. People generally care about people. They don't like to see each other in distress. They don't like to see each other destroyed. They don't like to see people lose their jobs, lose their homes, lose their families, get killed by drugs, get killed by thugs, get killed by and kidnapped by women, and all the bad stuff on the news. People don't like to see that stuff. And you citizens out there that are protecting people, you're doing a great job, but there's still people that need assistance. In all fields, we got to look out for each other. We got to have each other's back, even if we don't like each other. It's only going to get worse. Or worse yet, you're going to get wrapped up in some crazy stuff. You won't be able to get yourself out. Families can't protect everybody 24/7, 365. If you have problems with your family, seek help. Don't just throw them in jail. Just seek help. Have them seek help. Have them have somebody to talk to. There's therapy nowadays. There's psychiatrists. There's people that can open the roots of your problems and pain and put a bullet to it, as the metaphor says. I'm sure you already understand the metaphors. But in order to get over these worldwide problems, you got to cut it down from the roots. You don't just, slap it in the hand and say, no, but that's bad. Don't do that again. People are going to do it again just because you told them no. And if you're labeling us and telling us we got to destroy our lives and embarrass ourselves just to have the millions of dollars, well, we're going to rebel against you. And we're going to live our lives how we want to live it, even if we do or do not get the millions. We don't care about that stuff. We care about each other. We care about the laughter. We care about the homies. We care about the girls. We care about the kids. We don't give a crap about crime. Crime doesn't pay at the end of the day when you got to look behind you and see the police chasing after you. You're not going to make yourself a life in jail. You're not going to live your goals and experiences behind bars. For anyone, that doesn't necessarily stop people from committing the deeds that they do in the world. Yeah, it gets rid of a lot of the bad, but there's still bad in the world. There's still the world suffering from psychological damage. You don't let them get their stories out. And if people keep lying, then you'll never get the story straight, or the people will come together and just override you people, and they're just going to rebel against all these liars and bad situations. We're just going to rebel against stuff because that's what the generation does. They rebel against everything. It's no longer about people rebelling against good or bad. They just rebel against hard times. People don't believe in suffering anymore as a trigger to making people better. It doesn't make people better. You people are suicidal and you need guidance. You need clinical help. So you can either get it the easy way, the free way, or just be hard-headed and waste more time and just get put there anyway. Because 90% of us will probably want to heal from our wounds from the past. We already are, just admitting it in these conversations. We're already bypassing the hemisphere of the biosphere of knowledge conceded. It's not just concealed and revered. It's not feared. Knowledge is not feared. It's what you do with it. It's what you do with things that's given to you in the world when you're growing up. It's not always... You don't know two-sided ways of the story. You don't know people's stories. If people are so quick to judge, then people are going to judge the people that are judging. People always mimic and copy each other, but if you're doing the same thing to me, then I'm always moving forward. Then you have to copy the moving forward and not holding me hostage and making me wait. See, I let people discover their abilities and talents on their own direction, but I like to know if they've succeeded or not. I get this concluded from a lot of things also, but it doesn't fulfill my needs and my imagination of myself and how I dream it and see myself. I pass through a lot of occasions where there's a lot of times I don't speak, so I'm in different realities. I jump back and forth between memories, and I jump back and forth between abilities, and I jump back and forth. I don't know which or way I'm more comfortable with, because I'm not used to living with happiness. I'm not used to spreading sobriety, I'm not used to the beauty from the inside shown on the outside. I don't know how to judge myself. I always see myself as ever growing and ever learning and always loving. And yeah, I got a temper with me, but who doesn't, But I don't take it outside of those levels, and neither does anybody else in my life in the present. And that's how it's always should have been. That's how it always was and will always be.